Sydney, the Guatemala Human Rights Committee, the Grupo Ibaray Fondo Raúl Sende, the Latin American Social Forum in Sydney, Salvador Allende Monument in Sydney Incorporated, and Socialist Alliance. So thank you very much. I have some greetings, and I'd like to read out the letter that's been released by President Maduro of Venezuela about the very grave situation, a very serious threats made by the United States, and also a greeting from the Communist Party of Venezuela. I'll read those during our meeting. But if you allow me just some personal comments, I've had the privilege to visit Venezuela twice. Once in 2006 and once 2 weeks ago for the second anniversary of the passing of President Hugo Chavez. This second time I saw a growing sense of prosperity and well-being among the people, among ordinary people. That's despite a blockade and some very serious economic sabotage being engaged in by the United States against the Bolivarian revolution in Venezuela. I saw new housing. In a very short space of time. I saw the metro, which is expanding. I even saw ski lifts going across the highway to connect previously isolated hillside communities with the public transport network in Caracas. And this has had a dramatic effect on the lives of people living in those hillside communities. At the rally that we had, that was addressed by President Maduro, in honour of the former President Hugo Chavez, the people cheering were ordinary working people like you and me. These are people that were previously excluded from society. They weren't members of a new, sleek-down political class. They've got a slogan, and it refers to the elites that used to run the country for their own benefit. It goes, no volverán. They're not coming back.
No volverán! No volverán! No volverán!
The success of the Bolivarian Revolution is that people are running their own show. They're developing their communities. They're building this revolution. And you can see that same spirit that's conducting those missions and projects throughout Venezuela in the Yossi Pueblo literacy program that's being trialled and is now established in Aboriginal communities like in Volcano. It's the people themselves that create those successes. This is the real threat to the national security of the United States, not the security of the people of the United States, but to the administration, the regime, if you will. It's the threat of a good example. It's a moral threat. It's an ideological threat. And it's not the bogus so-called threat mentioned by President Obama recently. The threat of a good example that has come under attack. It's happened before in Latin America. It happened in 1954 in Guatemala, and it happened in 1973 in Chile. And I look forward to hearing from people from the Latin American community how this threat impacts on them, having had that experience. But anyway, comrades, look, I'd like to ask the first of our speakers, and Lalvin's got my list. I think it's from the Australia Cuba Friendship Society in Sydney. Is there a representative present who would like to speak to us?
Tim Anderson.
Yeah, if people could introduce themselves, but I don't think Tim Anderson needs an introduction.
Venezuela is not a threat.
Folks, thanks for coming this afternoon. We know the pattern of intervention that's going on here. I think the former Uruguayan President Pepe Mujica expressed it very well a few days ago when he said, and this is my translation, it's not quite read, but we're sick to death of US intervention in Latin America. We're sick to death of it. They know it very well, they know what it is, they know it's nothing to do with the pretexts. Now they're claiming that there's actually no US hand in what's going on there, of course. So that's what the Bush administration did 13 years ago. You may have heard that in the last day or so, the talks with Cuba, supposedly normalising the relationship with Cuba, have broken down precisely because of the aggression against Venezuela. And it's an aggression across the globe. You've seen it in the Middle East, you've seen it in Eastern Europe. The extraordinary thing is that at a time when the economy of the US, the capacity of the US is very weak, they're extending their hand it seems to me, far too widely. The hopeful sign, it seems to me, and this is a sign of the legacy of the late great Hugo Chavez, is that whenever a conflict arises now in South America, the Organization of American States, dominated by Washington, is not the one that comes in, not the one that is the arbiter. It's UNASUR, one of the three great organizations initiated by Hugo Chavez, the ALBA, UNASUR, the SARC. It's UNASUR that comes in to resolve these conflicts. Latin Americans are going to resolve their own conflicts from now on. There is no role for the US in a secure and stable Latin America. There's no role for the US in a secure and stable Middle East. So let's reinforce this message that we support the sovereignty of the Venezuelan people. That's, after all, consistent with international law, consistent with international human rights, and of course also in support of this tremendous project of Bolivarian Venezuela. Thank you.